this lake in the condition as it is today. Now, you may wonder, why is this petroleum engineer talking here tonight to us and this project manager? Now, engineers, process engineers, petroleum engineers, they know a lot, they learn a lot about energy efficiency and big projects, particularly when you're dealing with the majors of the world. And you will see later, I will come right to that. Now, project people in the oil companies, definitely, they are not really welcome. They are the troublemakers for one big reason. When the engineering departments come, or the exploration departments come and they have a really good new discovery, or the new business people come and they have a real good idea about a new deal, at some point it all goes to the project people for a reality check. And those people are the ones who really have to ask, have you thought about this, that, that? By the way, the capital costs for your investment are going to be 3 times higher than you think. There will be environmental, regulatory, schedule issues. So, as you can see, we are the ones who have to do, as I said, the reality check. And today, this is a reality check as well. Project people also cannot rely on the spoken word. They have to rely on what has been written black and white. And you will see, I will refer back to the application and the presentations already made by Aquilini to us, because that's the only thing we have, black and white. So in the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to bombard you with a number of facts, I'm afraid. My biggest problem tonight is that I only have that short period of time. Each one of the slides we are going to talk about is, I could spend the whole evening on discussing it with you. So let's jump right away into the matter and go through the first subject here. What is waste? Types of waste. There's, first of all, an important one is the household waste. You know, household waste is a pretty homogeneous material. Everybody has its own different type of waste, but take 10,000 or 100,000 people, and it is very homogeneous from a processing point of view. It has a well-defined property like heating value and a number of others. So, worldwide, there are hundreds, probably thousands, of incinerating plants, particularly in Europe, North America, they're available. Modern plants, and that's the important thing here, modern plants, they generate electricity, power, and heat. And that heat can be utilized by industries or households in the region. Now, as you can imagine, key problems, key issues with these plants are emissions and produced solids. The slag and salts and other things. Emissions is what comes out of the stack. So these are for everybody living nearby or not so near is what is interested in. Now, as compared to household waste, we have industrial waste or hazardous waste. And that is a big range. It can be pretty harmless, or it can be extremely dangerous stuff. Very often, more often than never, there are radioactive surprises coming with that industrial waste. There are only very few highly specialized plants around the world that can manage, that can operate these hazardous wastes, that can incinerate them or process them one way or another. Most of these plants, probably 90-something%, they are operated by large chemical companies who have big expertise anyway. For each new batch of different type of hazardous waste or industrial waste, big preparations are required on the burner side, pressures, temperatures, durations in the reactor, and so on. These plants require an awful lot of fuel gas, high temperatures, and long residence times in the reactors, in the burner, to get rid of the hazardous material, to destroy it, toxic components. In Canada, there's one plant in Swan Hills. It's in Alberta, a little bit northwest of Edmonton, in a small town. That plant has no link to other users with respect to electricity or power and gases and heat. Now, as you can imagine, for hazardous waste, the transportation of the waste to the location, to the plant, is a big issue. Can be a big issue. The emissions, everything that goes out to the stack, and the products. There are some toxic products being produced out of these plants. They are major issues as well. Now, in the application, Aquilini talked about incineration, gasification, and thermal desorption. I don't have the time tonight here to go through all the details there, but for our purpose, for all intents and purposes, the fundamentals are very, very similar of all these. We're all dealing with waste that is exposed to extremely high temperatures that will be turned into some kind of energy. We have emissions, and once in a while we can generate power if we want with any of the processes. So for us, we're dealing with energy, power, emissions in all of these processes. Okay, here is the plant in Alberta. Swan Hills, the treatment center, which was established in 1987. It has a size of around 320 acres. Swan Hills is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful plant there. And the landscape is very nice. The plant has 40,000 tons capacity per year. Now, this plant is also competition for Aquilini, because when I spoke with them a couple of weeks ago, they said, why on earth are you guys building a plant in Christina Lake? We have plenty of spare capacity here. Why don't they send this to us? And well, I'd like to leave it at that point there. Since 1987, Swan Hills has managed 2,000 different types of waste, so waste profiles, so it's quite a lot. As I said, they are not integrated power or heat-wise with any other users. Now, this plant, as I said, is operating since more than 20 years. Then came 16th of October 1996. 16th of October 1996, they had a problem in the plant, a reactor problem, and an awful lot of chemical emissions were issued into the environment. So since 1996, Alberta Health issued a warning, a health warning, regarding the consumption of game and fish. People in the area should not eat game and fish more than the very bare minimum. Now, this incident happened after 10 years in operation, when people thought they know the plant, they know how to operate different types of wastes. Still, it can happen. Okay, I'd like to move on here, and I'd like to ask our process assistant, Brenda, to point out to something which you for sure cannot read there, but you can read it later. This is from the Aquilini presentation last year, where they said they want to base the processing plant, the waste processing plant, on European proven technology. That is the statement written, and that is something we have to base it on. So that is a statement there, and there's also, they included in their presentation a picture of an incineration plant. And Brenda, you can show that picture there, and you can have a look at it. It's beautiful, the office entrance of an incineration plant. Now, they picked the plant in Italy, in Brescia. And I will show you the real plant, which is exactly how it looks like. That is right now there, and they showed just the entrance, the shiny round building there. Now that stack there is about, I think, 85 meters high. And as you can imagine, it would look pretty nice here if you would put on the top somewhere, welcome to Christina Lake, enjoy our if you had something like this. I do not know why they picked this plant in Brescia, but obviously they have intentions to build something like that here in Christina Lake. I'd like to point out here that this plant is based on household waste. This plant is burning household waste and not industrial waste, okay, which is very different, as I said before. All right, let's talk about what's coming out of that big stack here, this high stack, which you can see from anywhere in Christina Lake. Some emissions, some facts here, just for everybody here.